All right, good people. It's Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation coming at you Sunday morning. I hope to get this evening some stuff out on gold stocks, precious metals that I like, and sort of showcase my database and how I sort and filter. But before, let's get YieldMax Group D. I know you guys like the predictions. I like them. I mean, I don't own too many funds. I've kind of shared Coney, um, GDXY. Pulte is really my favorite fund of all. Palantir, PLTY, and YieldMax. And again, it doesn't perform anywhere near what Palantir does. But you have to write your own options. So those of you that really want income, if you have to buy or you're gonna buy a YieldMax, I'm completely out of Ulti. Ulti's dead. Ulti, I don't care about Ulti. It was sort of a science experiment. I owned 300 shares. I left it there for a long, long period of time, and all it did was decline. I mean, you can go out and you can say, well, it's $6, it's this. Well, tell me that when it's $3. How much money did you really collect? Did you collect the full $3? I doubt it. So just saying, peoples. Now, I am optimistic that Misti, Coney, and maybe we get this run in BTC. Um, Before I jump into these, you can see on the screen some of my stuff, but I want to say to you that in my opinion only, we're very close on this B wave back up. We're right around the 61.8. So we may get some momentum. Anything can happen with tariff news one way or the other. And we can bounce higher on the NASDAQ, on the Dow, on the Spider, the S&P 500. And Bitcoin's been a risk on for the most part. It does well when the Nasdaq and everything's doing well. But I saw some signs similar to what gold's been doing for some time. Gold's been going up regardless of the bear market, right? And even the gold stocks started going up as well over the last month or so. So Bitcoin will be a big determiner here. Um, so when you're looking at Misti, when you're looking at Coney, and you're looking at those things, although some people think Ulti because it goes out and it buys Maro and it buys a lot of the things related to crypto, and so does LFGY. Um, but guys, I don't know. I think the general stock market is close to the B wave bounce, and we should go back down into May and into um, possibly the first few weeks of June and get a new low. And then maybe we're out of the woods for a while. Maybe we get 2 or 3 months back up. But it's not a V, it's not straight back up. Um, Now, if we go back and test the highs from February and we actually close above the high, especially on a 1 or 2 day, on a weekly basis, if we have a close higher, then we're going to go a little higher. What is it? 3%, 5%, 8%. So that's just how probabilities and fundamentals work in the stock market. But probabilities, if I said to you it's 80% probability this is a B wave bounce and we're within 1 or 2%, if not Friday being the top. So just kind of be aware of that. Now, those of you that aren't heavily margined and all that, and you're just getting some income, you're fine. But it's those people that go like use margin like crazy and they go into these high yield funds, and when they go down, they're not designed to pay you very much money when they go down, unless they're an inverse fund like the YQQQ on here. So now that I got that out of the way, um, no problem. Let's jump in here and report. I always like to just tell you what's on my mind and what I'm thinking. All right. So I got a 44-cent payment for APLY on Apple. So you can see that that's higher than the past payments, 28, 36, 34, 30. It's a 41% yield. yield on cost, okay? Because right now we're trading at 13.95, which is $1.07 up from the last X date. Okay. So forward movement, and we all know we bounce. All you have to do is look back over the last few weeks, and we are in an uptrend on the averages. So most stocks have moved up. I mean, you see three here that haven't, right? AMZY's up 90 cents. So I've got 44 cents. Again, estimates are, I'll put the actuals in on Wednesday when they announce um, pre-market. So 44 cents on APLY, 44 cents on AMZY. Now that's a higher yield on Apple, right? As opposed to the Amazon YieldMax income fund. DISO was also up $1. Now, I don't track the individual stocks on income funds, although I think I'm going to start tracking Coney and Misti and Pulte and GDXY. I think I'm going to go back for a while and do dailies on every day that they write calls, buy calls, right, and report on that stuff. Uh, and then we'll see from there. I won't ever do any more than three or four that I own and I like. And frankly, I wouldn't buy much else there. I buy Misti and Coney when I think um, BTC is running, and it's very likely now. I think on Saturday, where are we at right at the moment? We are 97,680. Not bad for BTC. Up a little bit, right? It was around 95, 96 at the end of the week. So if we carry over, remember like 108, maybe it was higher, 109. There will be a run to 125 to 150 at some point. I don't know if this is a run. I don't know if when the market sells off and we go back down in the C wave and go lower, does that take Bitcoin down, or is Bitcoin going to act like gold and be a safety play, even though you're in a bear decline, a bear wave decline? All right, so 34 on XYZY. I still think of it as SPY. It's a payment system, right? So why they changed the name on that, I don't know, but they did. So I got 34 cents, 50% yield. They were down. Look over here. They've been going down, down, down. Okay. So let's do AIYY. There's another case. It's it's 485 now, but these things started at $20, most of these. Now, as you know, a lot started at 50, all the stuff in the last 6, 8, 9 months. But before that, your Misties and your Conies and your Apples and your AMZYs and DISOs, JP Morgan, all the stuff that they had for a while, they all launched at $20. But if they split it or they come out with new, they want you to invest more money. You want more shares so you can write option. They want to charge you $50. It's just, that's what funds do. They're not your friends. They act like your friend, but they're not your friends. They're there to make money, plain and simple. If they give you a great service and it's good income and you like it, then buy what you like. Buy what treats you the best. But don't ever think these income funds are better than a smart person just buying the underlying, because you can do way better with the underlying. It's just that income. I understand the euphoria, the adrenaline hit when you get income. We love it, right? It's like when you work, you go, oh, yeah, it's payday. Well, when you invest, you go, yeah, it's payday. Well, the same thing happens. If I buy a stock at $10 and next week it's 14, I'm like, yeah, I agree. I have to sell some to get the income, right? But I will conversely tell you guys that you buy these things and you look at the NAV and you go, well, I bought it at 20, but look at all the money I've collected. I've collected $11. Well, but the stock's $5 now, so you really lost $15 and you collected 11. And so that's what's really frustrating on just people not looking at total return and not tracking that stuff. I guess as a math person and where it comes easy, I just would never think to do any of that, not that way. But I get how people are. So just be careful of that euphoria and make sure you're bullish that it's going to go up. If you think something's going to go down and there is an inverse income fund, then go buy the inverse income fund, right? I mean, if we go back into this bear wave and the QQQs are going down, then YQQ is going to pay you income and it's going to make more money in the fund. The fund's going to go up. Whereas now it's starting to go down, right? It was trending up here over the last month, and now it's gone down because we've bounced up. Um, I mean, I hate to make traders out of you in the income funds, but you gotta think a little bit like that. All right, so the one you guys care about, Misti, that was a tough one. I actually went in and I started building my Misti spreadsheet, if you will, for the dailies and everything, and they're killing it on their synthetics. They're losing on some of their call spreads, but overall, they should have a very good payment, right? I think the payment will get us back to the $2 range. Um, and so I've got it at 219, which is 113% yield. Now, interesting, that's very high on an IV that's only around 64. Typically, they have a very high IV, but they're only at $25. So they've never paid $2 when the stock was at 25. It's typically 27, 30. You know, it's like they've never paid $3 and $4 if it wasn't in the high 30s or low 40s, right? We all know it's gone to 45 a couple times and then come back to 20. This last comeback was like, I think, high 18s. So, you know, and if you snagged some there, you're sitting pretty. But it'll be very interesting if the NASDAQ does roll over, if this risk on thing doesn't impact it. I get the feeling when Bitcoin wants to run, it's going to run. And I'm not sure that it'll be taken down just because the market sells off some. Um, and so we shall see. That will be very interesting if, in fact, over the next week we start to turn down in the indexes and Bitcoin moves, which I sure hope it does. I've got a lot of Coney that I've been buying at very low prices. So all right, guys. SMCY, I got at $1.35. Still a high yield. YQQ is dropping because it's not performing well, right? We're over here down $1.16. That and the other payment fund, XYZY, right? Um, all right, guys. On the weeklies, I'll read them out to you. I don't think these are a big shock to you guys. Um, YMAG, I got 6.5. I could have made it 6 or 7. I went with that. I got YMAX at 16. That could be 15. It could be 17. Lethargy at 45. Gaputi at 32. The Spider. Uh, Index income fund 29. I got 30 for the Nasdaq 100 cutie. Russell, I got at 40 cents, so it's paying a higher yield. And Ulti at 8.5, but I don't know. It could easily be 7. You know, as Ulti moved up. Well, I didn't put the prices over here. Not on these weeklies. Ulti is just not showing me as much as I thought it stabilized. It really hasn't. It's a poor performer. I don't know why people love it. Well, they love it right here. They love that 73.79. But again, I don't know that it makes up for that. I'd much rather buy something that's going up. I mean, I'm at the point where even with Pulte, I'm comparing my Pulte and my Palantir, and I'm going, yeah, it's an income fund, but I'm writing good calls on my Palantir, and Palantir is substantially higher. Palantir's gone back to its equal high, right? And if you look at Pulte, PLTY, it started around 50, right? When it came out, it was the 50 price stock. So it was in the low 50s right away. It ran up close to 100. Let me pull a chart up on my other. So it ran up to 95. It's at 66.91. It's at a nice place, right? It's moved with the Bitcoin stuff, but it's really not Bitcoin oriented. It's really AI. And it's a unique AI. It's probably the most productive software AI company out there. Um, and so, if when Palantir was at its high before, which was 124, right, in February, Pulte ran to 94. This time, Palantir's right back at that same level. And where are we in Pulte? 67. Now, okay, we're paying great dividends, right? We're paying $4, $5. But, 2 months of that, what's that? Two $5 months is $10. So add $10 to 67, you're at 77. So it was at 94 last time the stock was at its previous high. So Palantir had a high in February and it's already back to that high. That's why I say these funds don't perform. Now, if I add back the dividend and they're equal, okay, I get it. I got paid the dividend. So it's like selling some shares. But when you're not back to that level, you're not back to that level. And you can say all you want, but you're not making the same amount of money. I'm not trying to knock the fund. It's again, I think it's the best fund out there for earning money. Misti should do well, but I say should, could, would. Let's see how it does. Let's see if risk on comes back to hurt him. All right, guys, I won't keep you longer. Just wanted to report to you my estimates and talk to you a little bit about what I'm seeing in the markets. And I'm excited for what gold can do as well, although I think we're still retracing a little in gold. So I'll be watching everything here to see. Okay, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye for now.